please.
Yeah,
I
thank you,
just
Dr.
request
Gauri Murthy.
everybody to please stick to the time and please take the questions at the end of the session. Otherwise, we'll be running very late. Over to you, Ankur.
Yeah, thank you, everyone. Thank you, Dr. Gauri and everyone. Thank you, AIOS, for giving me this opportunity. And I'll be talking about how to avoid errors and perform a perfect perimetry. But I think I'll overshoot by another 50 seconds because I'm starting a little late by 50 seconds. The timer needs to be reset. Anyway, so we all know that we have seen how the visual fields are done. And then we talk about the minimum criteria of glaucomatous damage. The GHT has to be outside normal limits. A cluster of 3 non-edge points having a p-value of less than 0.5% and one of them having a p-value of less than 1% and a CPSD or a PSD less than 5%. Now, whenever these 3 criteria are met, we tend to think that it is glaucomatous. Now, look at this field. Now, we look at it, the GHT is outside normal limits. Then we have a cluster of more than 3 non-edge points having a p-value of less than 5% and at least one of them having less than 1%, and PSG is definitely less than 5%. So as per this definition, is this glaucomatous? A youngster or maybe a young fresh pass out may think about that this is a glaucomatous visual field defect. Then we move on to the Haddock-Parish classification, and we can even try and classify this field as whether it is an early, moderate, or severe kind of a visual field defect. Now, mean deviation is less than -5, so it probably falls into a moderate kind of a visual field defect. Sorry, early kind of a visual field defect. There are 25 and 13 points, so probably it falls into a moderate kind of a visual field defect because of glaucoma. And there is no central point having a depressed value of less than 15 decibels, so it is definitely not severe. So looking at these fields, we would probably classify this as glaucomatous, maybe a mild to moderate kind of visual field defect. But what about when we look at the discs? The discs are absolutely normal. So we went ahead and classified the visual field defect, but the discs are absolutely normal. So we repeat the fields. The problem was because of a drooping of the lid, and lid taping was important. So check the palpebral opening and pupil size before doing the visual fields. Now, pitfalls can be in performing the test or in interpretation. Ophthalmologists should be smarter than the machine and at least smarter than the perimetrist. Look for the patient comfort. Explain the patient that it is a demanding procedure. It is based upon the attentiveness of the patients. It may need to be repeated, and it is not a test of their artistic, intellectual, or physical ability, and all the points are not seen by everyone. So this has to be very much clarified to the patient before we start that test. Check the position of the patient, whether it is correct or incorrect. Now, this is an incorrect position where chin is little away from the chin rest. Make the patient sit comfortably in the correct position. Check the position of lens. Say it is very far off from the patient's eye, so it is going to give you a ring scotoma. The correct position should be like this, as close possible to the eye. Check the centration of the patient. This is actually incorrect, where the eye is out of the center, and it should be absolutely in center to have these central points being tested absolutely in the center. Now, test speed of the patient can be, kind of variable. It can be varied. At least in the Humphreys, we can slow the test speed even when the test is in progress. So for very elderly patients and differently able patients, we may have to reduce the test speed. Check for the fixation target. Ask the patient to look at the yellow light in the center. But if there are other issues like a macular degeneration, or we're testing these other types of scotomas, then we have to ask the patient to look for a different kind of a fixation target. Appropriate lens power is to be used based upon the distance correction. Generous near addition should be given. Patient should not be using accommodation because it demands a lot of effort from the patient's size, and any cylinder more than one diopter cylinder should be placed in the proper position. Now, common artifacts. Now, there can be a rim artifact like this, as we have just discussed, if the lens is pretty away from the patient's eye, and if you explain the patient, put the lens in correct position, it goes away. Now, this is a patient who presented to us in 2007 with progressively increasing visual field defects, and we can clearly see that the mean deviation has increased from -4 to -12. PSD has also increased from -2.7 to -7.8, and at the borderline, it has gone to outside the normal limits, and we can see that the visual field is definitely deteriorating. But he comes to us, we repeat the visual field, and what we find, the mean deviation has dropped from what it was in 2007, and it has dropped to which was similar kind of thing in 2005, 2006. Even the PSD has improved a little bit. So the problem here was somebody had done a different, the left eye a program on the right eye visual field, and the cut and write the right here. So this is not the correct way. So what happens here is the software identifies the patient blind spot as pathological spotoma, and the software's blind spot is seen by the patient. The increase in median deviation was because of early cataract in this patient. Now, this is another case which is showing you a very high false positive a white scotoma kind of a patient. We have very high false positives in this case because fixation losses. We explain the patient the procedure, and the patient does it wonderfully after explanation of this visual field defect. Now, this is a case of 45-year-old female with vague complaints of ocular discomfort. She has a strong family history of glaucoma. Mother and maternal grandmother has lost vision. She's hyperopic, but the angles are open with a narrow entry. The discs are absolutely healthy. We can have coupleless discs we had, and NRI was absolutely pink. And these were the visual fields which were repeated again and again for her. We can see this is an unreliable visual field, these three of them. So we ordered this patient's visual field when they came to us. We had absolutely okay visual fields, but what I was worried about was this generalized depression here. So I tweaked my perimeters at what they have done. They had put minus 3.5 in place of plus 3.5. When this refractive error was corrected, the fields absolutely went back to normal. Now, this is a patient, a 76-year-old diabetic, old lady with a borderline IOP, and she suddenly presents with marked diminution of vision in one eye. And we see there's a gross visual field defect because the patient was a glaucoma patient follow-up. My perimeters with the visual field before I came. And this was the disc when I looked at the 90D. So I could see some hemorrhages here, which was not typical of glaucoma. Once we dilate them and see, it was a case of inferior temporal BRVO, which was seen as a visual field defect in this visual field. A 75-year-old lady with steroid-induced glaucoma and having ulcerative colitis, which is not controlled without steroids. And this is a visual field defect, visual fields on 30-2 and 10-2. Now, such advanced visual field defects can only be followed and visualized on 10-2. Now, this patient is on regular follow-up since April 2010 with us. And we can see that she's maintaining almost similar kind of visual fields she's having since 2010 to 2020. When the patient is fatigued, inattentive, and losing interest after initial responses, what we get is something like a clover leaf here, where the central points are bright, but the later peripheral points are dark, which is something like a clover leaf. So this is another patient of ours. She comes to us with these kind of visual field defects, and we see that the GST is outside normal limits. There are more than 3 non-edge points having depressed value of less than 5 and 1 less than p value of 1. PSD is definitely more than 5%. And is this glaucomatous? So probably yes, it is glaucomatous. And once we classify as per the Haddock-Parish classification, she has 1 point which is showing less than 1 here. So probably she goes into moderate to severe kind of visual field defects based upon the Haddock-Parish classification. And this is the disc of the patient. We can clearly see there is an inferior disc hemorrhage here and a broad nerve fiber layer defect, which is causing this kind of visual field defect we just happen to see in this patient. This is the nerve fiber layer defect which is seen in these patients. And this is the GPA, which is showing you a rapid progression of disease from 10 to 2015, and she was advised surgery in this case. So this is the GPA again, which is showing you a significant slope. A 29-year-old female referred for glaucoma management, high CDRs, but the IOP was okay. So this is what somebody has written, that the patient is having glaucoma, and she has been advised follow-up and investigations at us. And this is the visual field she was done at our place, because all the glaucoma patients are subjected to visual fields before I come. And this was the OCT when the patient had come to us. The OCT shows very large discs and abnormal nerve fiber layer. And this is the other visual field defect which I could see, which is not typical of glaucoma. And when we looked, this was the IOP, which was 22 and 24, which was recorded there, and she was started on anti-glaucoma medications. Synovirim T here started. So
I'm really sorry to interrupt, sir, but the time is up. If you could come to the conclusion slide, we would appreciate it.
Sir, I started 1 minute late. That's what I told you in the beginning.
No,
my program is actually timed for 8 minutes. It will finish in 8 minutes.
I'll do the 8 minutes, sir.
Yeah. So this is the fundus photograph, which is showing you the nerve fiber layer defects here and inferior thinning of NRR. But if you look at the disc very closely, you can find disc is grossly abnormal. And when you look at the other eye disc, you can clearly find out that the discs are absolutely abnormal. And this is a probably case of disc coloboma. So in the end, I would just say, to avoid pitfalls, choose the correct test protocol, explain the patient, and we treat the patients, not the fields. This is the most important thing we have to understand. Thank you for your